Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Very nice to be here. Thank you for joining us. Today is the 1 week prior anniversary of Lord Nityananda's appearance day. So I've been asked to speak about Lord Nityananda and this great avatar of Lord Krishna whose gift made Krishna consciousness accessible to everyone all over the world, regardless of our background. Here in Dallas we have Radha Kalakantha. He's very special and incredible deities who are gracing us with their presence every day. And on the left side of the altar, our left, is Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So Lord Chaitanya is the Yuga avatar, the most recent avatar of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna. Lord Nityananda is his elder brother. His brother who acts as the original spiritual master for everybody. So there are many wonderful qualities of Lord Nityananda which will be discussed this evening and then at the temple over the next couple of weeks. And what is important to understand about Lord Nityananda is that he is Balaram in Krishna Leela. And he's also Lakshmana in Ram Leela. Everyone familiar with these brothers of the Lord? So Ram is the principal avatar, Krishna is the principal avatar, but his immediate brothers, Lakshmana, Balaram, and Nityananda, all play this important role in their pastimes. So in the pastimes of Lord Ram, Lakshmana was his younger brother. And Lakshmana advised Lord Ram, don't capitulate to all this palace intrigue. Don't go to the forest. You should fight for the throne. It's yours. After Kaikeyi had conspired and forced Dasarath to redirect the throne to Bharat, Lakshmana said, don't go. You shouldn't go. But Lord Ram said, no, this is the father of my order, the order of my father, and I'm going to go. So he overrode the wishes of his younger brother. And then Sita asked, please don't go to the forest without me. And Ram said, all right, you can come. Again, Lakshmana said, no, you can't take her. It'll be so difficult, so dangerous. And again, Lord Ram overrode the order of his younger brother. Many occasions this happened. And so finally, Lakshmana decided, next time, I'm going to be the older brother. Then he'll listen to me. So in the next avatar appearance of Lord Krishna, as Krishna in Vrindavan, Lord Balaram appeared first from the womb of Rohini, the elder brother, son of Vasudeva, but from another mother. And so in this capacity, Lord Balaram thought, all right, now I will get some respect around here. So when they grew a little, Krishna started being very deceptive with his older brother. For example, on Balaram's birthday one year, when he was not with the boys, Lord Brahma saw all the boys and calves, and he saw Krishna kill Aghasur, and he thought, who is this Krishna? Let me see what he does with this. So he put to sleep and kidnapped all of Krishna's cowherd boyfriends and calves. And Krishna, who was just 7 or 8 years old, he came back, looked around, they were all gone, and he thought, oh, this must be Lord Brahma. And so he manifested from his own body, he manifested the Vishnu forms which exactly matched every cowherd boy and every calf, right down to the tiniest detail. They were so perfect that even when they went back home to their mothers could not recognize them. And Balaram didn't know any of this. But one day, some months later, he saw all the cows up on Govardhan Hill being cared for by the cowherd men. And Krishna and the calves were down at the bottom of the hill. And all of a sudden, all the cows started charging down the hill. They were running so fast that the humps on their back were like going sliding back and forth. And they had 4 legs, but they were working like 2 legs, front, back, front, back. And all the cowherd men were trying to stop them, but they couldn't, which was very embarrassing for them because, after all, they were training their sons to take care of cows. And here they were losing control of the herd. And there, the calves ran down to the cows ran down to the younger calves that were being cared for by Krishna and Balaram, and they started nursing these calves, although they had been weaned months and years earlier. So Balaram saw this and he said, "What is going on? This must be something that Krishna is doing." And so indeed he asked Krishna, and Krishna confessed, "Yes, this is what happened. It was on your birthday, you weren't here, but I replaced all of these boys and calves. And now their mothers, both the human mothers and the cow mothers, love these imitations more than they love the originals." So this way Balaram was tricked. Then later, Balaram wanted to have their sister, Subhadra, marry Duryodhana, who Krishna was not fond of. Okay, thanks. Arjuna was also interested in marrying their sister Subhadra. And so everything was set for Duryodhana because Balaram was the elder brother and he had the right to make the choice. But then Krishna said, "Arjuna, why don't you dress up as a sannyasi? Dress up as a sannyasi and come and visit us and see what happens." So when Arjuna, who was actually a Kshatriya, dressed as a sannyasi, he came in, and Subhadra immediately became attracted to him. And although they were having dinner together, and he was there as a renunciate, a sannyasi, they kept kind of stealing glances at each other. And then Arjuna, being a Kshatriya, he decided, "I'm just going to kidnap Subhadra," which he did. And of course, Balaram was furious. She was supposed to marry Duryodhana. And Krishna said, "Yes, but they make a very nice couple, don't they?" So in this way, Balaram's desires were also thwarted by his younger brother. So now he decided, next time around, I'm just going to do whatever I want. I'm not going to listen to my brother at all. So this is Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda was always there in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes to embellish them and to glorify him, and yet he did whatever he wanted. For example, Lord Chaitanya accepted the sannyas order. He was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He didn't need to, but because people respected sannyasis, therefore he accepted that order, so people would give him respect as the Yuga avatar. As Prabhupada Priya Prabhu was talking about in class this morning, when we have some respectable position in society, like a PhD, then people automatically give some reverence. And so that's a great asset if we're trying to introduce them to absolute knowledge. So in this case, Lord Chaitanya accepted the sannyas role, and with his sannyas danda, given by the impersonalists, the Shankarites, who are the most prominent of the day, he went off to travel as sannyasis are supposed to do. But Lord Nityananda, upon seeing this staff, the sannyasi rod, took it and broke it and threw it in the river. "You don't need this sannyas. What is this?" So in this way, Lord Nityananda did whatever he wanted to do. But Lord Nityananda is very important to us because when these very wicked brothers, Jagai and Madhai, attacked him, and they caused Lord Nityananda's head to bleed, Lord Chaitanya was so furious that he came with his Sudarshan chakra prepared to decapitate them. And Lord Nityananda stopped him and said, "Wait a minute, you came in Kali Yuga to save the worst, most fallen people, and if you kill these two, how are you going to deliver all the rest? There's so many others like them." So he intervened on behalf of these fallen Brahmins, Jagai and Madhai, who then repented and were accepted as disciples by Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, Jagannath and Madhava. So Nitai is the representative of the spiritual master. He's the original spiritual master. Therefore, if we want to approach Krishna, we have to approach Lord Nityananda. And this is Nityananda's special role in our lives, that for those of us who are aspiring to come closer to Krishna, in Kali Yuga we come closer to Krishna through Lord Chaitanya, we come closer to Lord Chaitanya through Lord Nityananda. And we approach Lord Nityananda through our spiritual master, as he is the Adi Guru, the original spiritual master. So this is the occasion for celebrating the appearance of Lord Nityananda. And there are many, many beautiful songs written about him by various followers of Lord Chaitanya, particularly Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Narottam Das Thakur. So we're going to sing a song in a little bit called the Broker's Song about Lord Nityananda. And this song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur is fascinating to read because the author, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, was himself a very highly respected person in society. He was a son of a wealthy family in a village in West Bengal, today's West Bengal. We grew up in a very happy, prosperous environment. But when he was a young man, 13, 14 years old, tragedy struck his family through an epidemic that ravaged the village. His father died, most of the residents of the village died, and in the process they lost all of their wealth. His brothers died, so he all of a sudden found himself a young man with a dependent mother, and also, as was the custom of the day, a young wife to support. So he had to stop his education and immediately begin working in order to support the family. Imagine going from this prosperity to poverty and desperation. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, being a brilliant man, managed to navigate that difficulty, and he gradually worked his way up in the British government to the highest position that the government could offer a native Indian at that time. This was in the 1870s, 1860s. He became a magistrate for Jagannath Puri, a city in eastern India. And as a magistrate, he was something like a combination of a judge and a mayor. So he made decisions on all sorts of civic matters, a task which kept him very, very busy. However, all this time he had been looking for spiritual knowledge. In those days, the things that were native to India, the traditions, were considered backwards, and therefore the philosophies of theosophy, of Christianity, kind of Western, Eastern blends of the two became prominent among the intelligentsia of West Bengal. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur explored all of these, but they didn't seem to satisfy him. And then, much to his surprise, he discovered the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These teachings had become obscure in the course of time in the 400-some years since the Lord Chaitanya's appearance. However, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was astonished to find that in the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the simple teachings of chanting, were all of the Vedic truths perfectly reconciled and encapsulated in one tradition. Now, this surprised him a great deal. So Bhaktivinoda became, for the rest of his life, an exponent of the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Part of his broad vision for these teachings was that they are relevant for everybody. At that time, in order to become a priest or an enlightened person, you had to be born in the family of a priest. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur realized that in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, your birth did not matter. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, your position was determined not by your birth, but by your priority. And if we set our priority as our spiritual realization, there was nothing to impede us, whatever our caste, whatever our birth, whatever our education, whatever our financial situation. And not only for the Indian society, which was burdened by the caste system at that time, but Bhaktivinoda foresaw that everybody all over the world, in Europe and all over Asia and in the Americas and in Africa, everybody could take part in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. There was no restriction whatsoever. So with this vision, Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote in English. He published books and sent them to the West so people could begin learning about the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the great gift of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So in this particular song, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes about Lord Nityananda as the broker of the holy name. What is a broker? Any real estate agents in here? He's a go-between there. There's a supplier, and there's a customer, and the broker is a middleman. And then the broker also has salespeople working under. So Lord Nityananda is the broker in the marketplace, and Bhaktivinoda is a salesman. So in this song, he's making a sale to us, the customer. He's saying, hey, great news. I have some fantastic news. When you need to sell something, you need to make it sound very positive. Right? He says, I'm coming here with some fantastic news. The broker, Lord Nityananda, has set up shop in Sarabi Kunja, where Bhaktivinoda lives. He set up the marketplace of the holy name right there at Bhaktivinoda's house. And now he's inviting customers, and he's selling the holy name for a very cheap price. Very cheap. What is that price? Faith. Just a little faith. We just have a little faith in the power of God's name. In spirituality, faith is a controversial topic, because if you believe in something, immediately you are polarizing yourself from those who don't believe. And so it is common that people will just try to convince others to believe, to have faith. However, in Bhakti Yoga, as taught by Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in Bhakti Yoga, faith is not a prerequisite. It is something that is born of experience. And so by chanting, one gets experience of the joy of chanting. And then faith is a natural byproduct. It's not a preliminary, it's a natural byproduct. So as a salesman, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, hey, if you just chant a little bit, you will experience faith, and then you can buy the holy name. Very cheap price. So if you want to buy, let's go and see him, and let's see what kind of deal we can work out with the broker. And if you decide that you want to buy the holy name, I'm going to get a commission. So you'll get the holy name, and I'll get my override. I'll get my commission, and we'll both be happy. Then he says, in exchange for this little bit of faith, he's going to give you limitless, unending faith and bliss. And a little bit of faith, and you get bliss forever. Not only in this lifetime, but when you leave this body, your bliss will be unending. Then he says, and if you get a little bit advanced, and through the mercy of Lord Nityananda, you begin to appreciate the holy name so much that tears come to your eyes. Oh, if Nitai sees that, he'll give you anything you want. Won't even charge you for more. So please rest assured, he's telling his customer, look, his teachings are so very, very pure that he doesn't care if you have money, if you're educated, what your birth was. He doesn't care about any of that. It's just the pure love that he's giving, pure love of God that he's giving you as the product. And then once you have it, wherever you are, at home or in the forest, makes no difference. You'll always feel blissful in ecstatic love. And then he finally, just to reassure his customer, Bhaktivinoda says, look, I know it's Kali Yuga, and in Kali Yuga everything is degraded, and everybody is forgetful, and everybody has become addicted to very low-class habits in their diets and in their intoxicants and so forth. But even though it's Kali Yuga, the lowest class of person can purchase the holy name, the Chandala. A Chandala is somebody who eats dogs. So that's considered in the Vedic culture just way out of bounds. But even a Chandala can get the holy name by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Having convinced his customer, then Bhaktivinoda says, just have no doubt. If you have the shelter of this broker of the holy name, you will have everything you need in life. So this is the beautiful song, Boro Suker Kabor Gai, which we will now attempt to sing. Okay? And this is a sing-along, everybody. Can everybody see the words? Okay. We're going to need a clicker. Can somebody be the responsible clicker to make sure the on the board. Yeah. Thank you. So our process for singing this is very simple. We'll we will. I'll sing the first verse, and then you will sing in response. And first line is in Bengali, second line is in English. We'll do call response, Bengali, Bengali, English, English. And in between each verse is the refrain, Koda Nitai. What does Koda Nitai mean? Koda means the owner and the manager. So the owner and the manager in the marketplace of the holy name is Lord Nityananda. Koda Nitai, in between each verse. All right? Is that all right? Boro sukir kabor gai, Boro sukir kabor gai. I sing of fantastic news, blissful and you're not changing, Prabhu. Steve, you want to do it? Steve's got a little experience, fine, we'll let him do it. I sing of ecstatic news, blissful and fantastic news. Nitai's Kirtan marketplaces in Surabi Kunja. Koda Nitai, Koda Nitai. Boro mojar kata tai, Boro mojar kata tai. There are smiles on every face in that holy marketplace. Shraddha mulye shuddha nama sehate te bikai. Krishna's holy names are sold for just the price of faith. Koda Nitai, Koda Nitai. Jata Bhakta Vrinda Basi, Jata Bhakta Vrinda Basi. All devotees are attracted to the market's interactions. Adhikare deke nama beche daro kasi. Nitai qualifies each buyer, then conducts transactions. Koda Nitai, Koda Nitai. Jati nama kinbe bai, Jati nama kinbe bai. Brother, if you want to buy, let us go now, you and I. Amar sange chalo mahajaner kache jai. Let us go and meet with the illustrious Nitai. Koda Nitai, Koda Nitai. To make him be Krishna Nama, to make him be Krishna Nama. You will by the name of Krishna, I will gather my commission. Dasturi lo ipe ami purnaha bekama. Then we both shall relish our auspicious acquisitions. Koda Nitai, Koda Nitai. Borodoyal Nityananda, Borodoyal Nityananda. Nitai is so very generous, faith is all he's asking of us. Shraddha Matra Loye Den Paramananda. In exchange, he gives us bliss unparalleled and endless. Koda Nitai, Koda Nitai. Ek bar dekhe jal, ek bar dekhe jak se jal. Now chant Gora if Nitai sees one teardrop in your eye. Gora bole datai den sakala sambal. Anything you want or need, he surely will supply. Koda Nitai, Koda Nitai. Den Shudha Krishna Siksha, Den Shudha Krishna Siksha. Krishna's teachings are so pure, this profound entrepreneur. Jati Dana Vidya Bala Nakore Apeksha. Cares not for your knowledge, money, strength, or even your birth. Koda Nitai, Koda Nitai. Amane Chade Maya Jal, Amane Chade Maya Jal. Forest, home, or anywhere, shedding Maya's web of snares. Grihe tako, bane tako, tatake janjal. All at once you will be free of each and every care. Koda Nitai, Koda Nitai. Arnaiko Kalir boy, Arnaiko Kalir boy. Although Kali Yuga is here, you don't have a thing to fear. Achandale den nama nitai doya moyam. Even chandalas can buy from this kind marketeer. Kodanitai, Kodanitai. Bhakti Vinoda Dakikoi, Bhakti Vinoda Dakikoi, and Bhakti Vinoda cries out at Nitai's feet, there is no doubt. Nitai Charanara Bina Nadahi Ashroya. Are the only shelter you can never do without. Kodanitai, Kodanitai. Kodanitai, Kodanitai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Kodanitai, Kodanitai. Kodanitai, Kodanitai. Gaur Premanandi. This is the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Everybody can take part in this most sublime form of yoga, the highest expression of the Vedic knowledge, without any previous qualification. All we need is enough faith to try. In describing the progress of spiritual unfolding in Bhakti Yoga, the great acharyas and teachers in our line have explained that spiritual life begins with a Tao Shraddha, just a little faith that maybe there is something beyond this ordinary material life. And why would we have that interest? Because something in this life is not satisfying us. Something is unfulfilled. Something is unknown. And we realize that if we're not addressing it, we're just trying to forget about something and not resolving it. So that Tao Shraddha starts us on the path of spiritual life. And from that little preliminary faith comes enough interest to find out other spiritually minded people, such as here in this temple, in this wonderful community in Kalakantha Dham in Dallas. By that association of spiritually minded people, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we can be connected with the holy name of Krishna. And we can be connected with the techniques of spiritual life taught by our founder Acharya, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who brought this Krishna consciousness and Bhakti Yoga to the West nearly 60 years ago. Started this spiritual revolution, which is carrying on and increasing even to this day. So the Sadhu Sangha, the association of saintly persons, leads us to the practices of bhakti, especially chanting. Simple thing, no obligation. Just try the chanting, see if it fills that spiritual need. And if you don't like it, there's a karma back guarantee. You can go right back to whatever you were doing before, no loss, no cost. But if you get a little enjoyment from that, you will find that by continued practice, anartha nivritti, unwanted things, bad habits, self-defeating behavior, destructive interactions with others, things that really tax our minds and our hearts, they begin to lose their grip on us, and we start to become free to express the better, the angels of our higher natures, as Lincoln put it. Our better selves start emerging. This is anartha nivritti. It's a miraculous experience. How the better side of us comes out, and the greed, the materialism, the anger, the hate that burdens our hearts just kind of fades away. That's the birth of nishta, which means firm, unshakable faith. Not because I believe some dogma, but because I have experienced the transformative power of the marketplace of the holy name. So this is why we celebrate the appearance of Lord Nityananda with great joy this week. The festivals continue all week, or the readings will continue all week, when the festivities culminate next Sunday and Monday. So thank you very much for being here to take part in this glorification of Lord Nityananda. Now I'll stop and ask if there are any questions, any comments, reflections you might like to add. Class usually goes until 6, is that correct? Oh, 6:15. Oh, okay. I didn't get the memo. That's all right, we can always chant. But yes, if there's some questions now, let's have some discussion. Yes, Prabhu.
I'm very impressed by the cultivation and how you're engaging the Western students in Gainesville. It's a very thankless task you're doing. I'm very impressed. My question is that I don't know what kind of preaching method you use over there, but when we go to these big universities and institutions, and we're dealing with the hardcore scientists and hardcore researchers, I tried to use this statement, what you told right now, but you mentioned in the class, that chant your rounds, follow the 4 racks, come to a laboratory. We have also a lab, we have a temple, it's a hospital. You follow the procedure and it's going to work. And if it doesn't work, you can go karma back guarantee, you can go to your science lab. But at least follow for a month. But the answer is that no, we are already high in our work. So how can we convince those people?
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is a wonderful question. We have to remember that our founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, came to the West at the age of 70. He had never been out of India. And he had this sacred order from his spiritual master some 44 years earlier. Take this to the West. And so he did this in his declining years. He got off the boat in Boston Harbor, went around and looked in the city of Boston and got back on the boat and thought, what have I done? Krishna, he said, why have you brought me to this horrible place? How will these people ever understand this message? Later he said, if I tell them to practice celibacy and sobriety and vegetarianism and refrain from gambling, they will probably say, you go back home. It was very daunting. And for a year after that, he lived in poverty, practically like a homeless person from place to place. And it was only after a year of great difficulty that he found a few interested young people. He went to the more sophisticated people. They weren't so interested. But when he went to the younger people who were in the part of life in which they were seeking, he found interest, great interest. So from there, starting with these young, unconventional youth in the West, he built this whole movement all over the world. So to answer your question, we can just look at his life. It took a year before he could get any traction at all. So the first thing is we have to be prepared to be very persistent. Srila Prabhupada said that if you are born in India or from Indian heritage, if you scratch the surface, Krishna consciousness is right underneath. but for the Westerners, the locals, the diverse populations in this part of the world, there's no background. So we have to start from scratch. People are not convinced by any means that they have more than one life. The idea of a guru seems very cultish. The idea of chanting seems like mind control. And so, what is the magic you're asking? The magic is this sadhu sangha. That in the association of other spiritually minded people, something is awakened in the heart. And so, our challenge here in Dallas is to bring enough spiritually minded young people together where there's a critical mass, such that any other young person in orbit will become drawn in by gravitational pull. We cannot make devotees, you know? You asked, how do we get people to become devotees? We can't make them like Dr. Frankenstein in his lab. He assembled various body parts and made a person, you know. He made a new human being. He made him. We can't do that. We can't make devotees. If we could make devotees, it would give a whole new meaning to the phrase, all glories to the assembled devotees. What we can do is create an environment that's so inviting and so spiritually surcharged that people will be attracted and then want to stay because they experience that transformative change. So it's not something that happens easily. It takes years. It takes years, in most cases, to bring a person not of Indian heritage to Krishna consciousness. Whereas in weeks or months, somebody who's familiar with this glorious tradition, who has it in their background, in their history, in their lives, in their families, in their homes, for generations, for them it's very easy to appreciate, you see. So that's why typically in our temples we have largely people from the Indian diaspora. And that's wonderful. We want everybody. But the vision of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda is broader, as you're saying. Now, what you mentioned specifically is scientists, highly educated people. But people taking up Krishna consciousness from the higher echelons of society is wonderful. But it takes patience. It takes time. Science has become the religion of the day, isn't it? And people have absolute faith that the highest knowledge you can get is from science. I'm from New Mexico, which is next door to Texas. It's called the flyover state. It has to be something to separate Texas and Arizona and California. That's New Mexico, kind of a barren state. And we have a saying there that in the desert, a tumbleweed is a big tree. So in a world of ignorance, if somebody has a little knowledge, that appears to be, oh, that is very profound. You see, this is science. And as a result, people have faith that whatever absolute truth and knowledge I'm missing must be known by science. See? So it is best if we concentrate on the positive. And what is that positive? That spiritual life is naturally blissful. Nitya Siddha Krishna Sabu Karunoi Shravanade Sudhe Chitte Karya Udoy. The love of Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, is dormant in everybody's heart. And by chanting and hearing, it naturally awakens. So if we create that critical mass of young people, of any background, doesn't matter, Eastern, Western, Indian, American, whatever. If we create that critical mass of young people enjoying the experience of Krishna consciousness, other people will be drawn in. That's the best answer I can give you. That happened quite unexpectedly in Gainesville 18 years ago, because people had not been joining for years and years and years. All of a sudden there were dozens and hundreds of people coming. So we're trying to do the same thing in Dallas. It's developing slowly, some very nice dedicated devotees like Dristadumna Prabhu and Prabhupada Priya Prabhu and others, under the auspices of Mother Padma. They're making all this happen. So I just ask everybody involved, please be patient, please be cooperative. If you see a new young person bouncing around the temple and they're eating with their left hand, don't tell them you should eat with the right hand. Tell Dristadumna, would you train these people, please? You see? Then they feel part of a community where they are accepted and welcomed, not being nitpicked by everybody. This is one thing we can do. our experience is that over time, if we create such an environment, then more and more qualified people will come. More educated people, more capable people. The more we have invested in this material world, the more we have to give up, right? So people of character, of caliber will come more and more by the gradual development of this circle of bhakti. Is that all right?
It's a wonderful answer, and I think I'm so much impressed by this answer, because I asked this question to all the senior devotees, but the way you explain it, it's in a very lofty way, and it is a lofty. We have to attract the people, and the one thing I appreciate about it's a humbleness that you express, that it's not we who are making devotees. It's all glorious assembled devotees. It's a corporation of the devotees.
Yes, and Krishna sends them when the environment is proper.
Thank you so much. It's
Okay.
and that's the glory of your success in Toronto, Dallas, wherever you go. That's amazing.
Thank you. It's
Thank
very,
you
very,
so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very,
Thank
very
you.
embryonic program,
Okay,
but
thank you, Prabhu.
with the cooperation of everybody, it can succeed.
I'm pretty sure Srila Prabhupada is very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's my goal. Thank you. Any other reflections? Pastimes of Lord Nityananda? Question? This gentleman has a question here. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I was wondering how to get. I was wondering how to get mercy of Lord Nityananda, because the daily, day-to-day spiritual activities that I do are chanting and hearing. I barely glorify Lord Nityananda. I always, when I chant, I glorify Lord Krishna, and when I hear something, they mostly speak about Lord Krishna pastimes and Leela.
Mm-hmm.
So nowhere I find that I'm somehow relating my consciousness to Lord Nityananda.
To Lord Nityananda.
So how do I get mercy of his,
Yeah, if you are chanting the holy names of Krishna and you're hearing about Krishna, then you have the mercy of Lord Nityananda. You see, this is his purpose, to bring us the holy name. So you're a customer in the marketplace, you bought your product. You are a valued customer of Lord Nityananda. So our focus does not necessarily have to always be thinking about Lord Nityananda. Okay? In other words, if we're thinking about Krishna, if we're chanting the holy name, that is Lord Chaitanya's success and his happiness. You understand? And Lord Nityananda is there smiling in the background as you're chanting. And getting his mercy is extremely easy. It doesn't require any kind of extraneous effort. If we're chanting, he's happy. Is that all right? Okay. Just once a year, we celebrate and we turn our attention exclusively to him this time of year. And the rest of the year, he's smiling in the background. Okay. Just to Dumna Prabhu, did you? Oh, okay. Other reflections, questions, thoughts about this process, about Lord Nityananda? Go ahead, Prabhuji.
I guess my question was, how do we get the maximum mercy from Lord Nityananda?
We get the maximum mercy of Lord Nityananda by helping others become customers. Nachatasmin manuseshu kaschan me priyakritama. In the end of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, if somebody shares this message of Bhagavad Gita with others, those who are of pious heart, that person is most dear to me. And never will there be one more dear. So that's the advanced stage. We get Lord Nityananda's mercy by chanting, and in time we share with others. It needn't be something artificial or uncomfortable. Just it will happen naturally as our own experience of the bliss of bhakti grows. If the bliss of bhakti is growing in our lives, spontaneously we want to share it with others. We'll see others suffering in the three modes of material nature, addicted to all kinds of self-defeating activities. When they have this birthright, especially as human beings, to experience so much more out of life. So when that, as Bhaktivinoda puts it, if Nitai sees one teardrop in your eye, then he'll give you anything that you need. So if we have that desire to help others, then Nityananda Prabhu will give us even more empowerment. It's not necessary, it's not essential, but that's the path of progress in spiritual life. If we're serious about bhakti yoga, something unexpected is going to happen. We will become spiritual masters. That was the point Srila Prabhupada made in a lecture in 1975 when he explained that it's very simple to be a spiritual master. Just three things. You have to know the philosophy, practice the philosophy, and teach the philosophy. Those three things. So if we know the philosophy and practice it, we're doing well. If we teach the philosophy, then we're in the graduate course. He said it's very easy to do. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. We just have to assimilate the philosophy and be able to explain it in our own words. Just to repeat verbatim, like a parrot, will not have the same effect as internalizing, realizing, experiencing, and then sharing. But that is the natural outcome of a life spent in Krishna consciousness, in bhakti yoga, that we will have students, will inspire people, will be teaching, and they'll be asking us for more protection and shelter in their development in spiritual life. So we have the idea of taking a guru is frightening. The idea of being a guru is even more frightening. And yet this is the natural conclusion of a spiritual life. And that's how we get the increased mercy of Lord Nityananda. He's the original guru, and we become part of his family of gurus. All right? So you got this instruction? You're only 20, and plenty of time. But everything begins with intention. And okay, I'm prepared to do this if this is Krishna's desire. Okay. Thank you. Any other thoughts? Yes, Prabhu. Microphone, please. There we go.
So Prabhuji, I was thinking about the statement which Nityananda Prabhu says that, if I see a little bit of tear on your eyes when you take the name of Gaura, then I give you everything. So what is, is it your complete surrenderness to Nityananda as a Gauranga Mahaprabhu, or a tiny bit of that faith that it is, comes in and out of your heart?
So tears are part of the successive stages of bhakti after firm faith, nishta, has been developed. It is something that nearly all of us who practice chanting experience from time to time. This kind of overwhelming awe of the kindness that we have been given, the emotionally charged feeling that how much my life has changed, how fortunate I am. They are tears of joy. They are tears of wonder, tears of transformation. We have gone from tears of bitterness and suffering and pain to tears of joy and awe. So that teardrop, one teardrop in the eye, it's an advanced stage. And what Bhaktivinoda is saying is if you chant and you become more advanced and you experience the depth of this mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, then you will, or Lord Chaitanya, he says, then Lord Nityananda will just supply you everything that you need. Because you no longer have any desires for things of this world. Your only desires are to help other people. Your only desire is to go deeper yourself into this wonderful process. See? And he will give you every facility to do that. Just like Srila Prabhupada. He started with $4. And then Krishna gave him everything. Everything he needed to start centers of Krishna consciousness like this all over the world. It's miraculous. So to experience a miracle can bring a tear to the eye. Okay. Thank you. Anything else? I was wondering, I think the temple here in Dallas started in a rented apartment somewhere, some poor quarter of town, right? Frisco area. Just some rent, way out in No, what I'm saying is that the first temple in 1970 or so,
Okay, yes.
it was just some rented apartment somewhere with a couple of poor devotees who had no money, right? They go out and scrounge a few dollars by selling back to Godheads. So isn't it miraculous what has happened? And there was no central Hare Krishna corporation sending millions of dollars to Dallas. Everything came organically. So that's a miracle, isn't it? Does that bring a tear to our eye? I don't know. It doesn't. It's pretty amazing, though. Yeah, and it continues to grow and to expand in Frisco and Fort Worth and everywhere. It's like COVID, but worse, more infectious. Because of the effects are lasting. Okay, so we're good now. Thank you for those nice questions and for giving me the chance to speak this evening. Real pleasure to be here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Radha Kalakantha. Hare Krishna.